Welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane Williams and Paul Mason, where they share the latest manufacturing and tech news and explore innovative solutions to help you improve your business.
Mark, welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia. Thanks for coming on the show.
Awesome.
You just gave us a quick spiel overview of this awesome new platform you're talking about to connect all parts, all different elements of a factory together. Can you give us a quick run through of what?
Sure. Yeah, no, really pleased at APEX this week we're launching our new version of IDS Net, which is our code management solution platform. So Matthews have been developing software for 30 odd years under the brand of IDS Net, and that's connecting our printers, our devices for eliminating coding errors, and that's where we really started. But over the years, we've really morphed into a package code management or a packaging validation system. So allowing our customers to ensure that the right package gets on the right product with the right code, the right date code, the best before date, ultimately through to the carton level and then onto the pallet. And doing that, we also then connect with production line interfaces for rejecting, for stopping lines, but also ERP systems like SAP for material master data, for cleanse data, to ensure the right descriptions, the right codes get on the right packages, and eliminate, as I call, the fat finger syndrome, with the operators having to manually type in at the primary coding station versus the secondary, therefore eliminating the waste of rework because of incorrect information being applied. So with IDS Net, the new version we have here today has been designed and really encapsulates all of our learnings over 30 years into a new platform that takes in the evolution of Industry 4.0, so all the standard protocols that we've seen and developed now, but also into the future. We've really embedded that. And as I was saying a bit earlier, one of the biggest challenges that we face on that packaging line is every line is different. Every line, a customer wants line 1 to behave differently to line 2, let alone customer A versus customer B. So we find ourselves in a position where we have to deal with line integration, ERP integration, SCADA integration, and bring all these different devices, whether it be printers, scanners, cameras, all into the picture to allow the customer to operate their line, to take the operator fat finger syndrome out, but then all the connectivity and the data flow that we can then push data back up that is also cleansed, that allows them to either have finished goods in their ERP system or productivity and efficiency improvements. So what you see here today is a really simple start line process where we have line 1 connected to our devices. Very simple, product best before information. I can sit in here and type information, if it's variable information, and then start a run. So all of that information is now just being sent to the printer, and you can see what we're printing here with all the variable information, but that's now all captured in the database. So we're now starting to record everything. So then you can come across to line 2, where we've got a lot more devices. So every device on our stand this week is connected to IDS Net, controlling all of the printers from a primary point of view, secondary at the carton level, all the way through to pallet. But then we're capturing all of that scanned information and storing that into the database. But typically we then feed that back up into third-party or ERP-based systems. And what you end up getting is something like this. So we can now start to really track the performance of all the product information on the line, because we know the coders are printing on the primary, so we can count all that information. We know the customer's targets, what they want to achieve per hour, per shift. So we can start to create better visual tools that help the production line people better understand how they're going against their targets for the hour, for the shift, for the day, for the week. And then ultimately what we end up on is a whole bunch of information that we can display that shows when they're going to lunch. That can show, there was some downtime because they had some downtime for machine adjustments. We can then have planned downtime and unplanned downtime. We can then look at, as a historian, we can look back at the unplanned information, and we can start to record information. So when there is a line stoppage, through our software or through automated connecting with PLCs, we can capture reason codes. So here's an example of reason codes that says for this period of time there was 42 minutes down to machine adjustment. But we also had waiting on cartons. We also had waiting on labels. So over time, the customers can get a better insight into what's causing some of those downtimes and actions that they can take to improve and reduce that unplanned downtime.
Right.
So it all started with connecting some simple printers in terms of removing the issues of getting wrong code on the wrong product, right, to a system now where IDS Net really acts as that packaging line interface that actually ends up connecting the physical to the digital as well. Because a lot of the work that we do in this space is also connecting to third-party cloud-based solution providers that is also doing traceability and what we call serialization, so consumer engagement. So once we've captured the information, we can print a QR code, a unique QR code per product, that then allows us to push that into the cloud, that then allows the consumer to connect. We can feed all the dynamic data like best before, batch information, with that information into the cloud, that then allows the consumer to scan that in the consumer third-party platform that then connects it back to the production line of when it was done.
Right.
So we really find ourselves these days, as I said, connecting the physical to the digital, and there's a lot more work we're doing in that space of connecting to third-party cloud solutions as well, that allows the consumer, that being us, to ultimately connect back to the when the product was manufactured as well.
Wow, that's great. I was going to ask you about that horizontal integration, whether it's, is it, legacy equipment or other suppliers' equipment through to the customer side. How do you handle that with, connectivity across the board?
It depends on how sophisticated the devices are, but we're asked a lot of times from our customers to come in and talk to various devices. It doesn't have to be Matthew's device. As long as we've got a protocol and again, we've got the inbuilt workflow designers now where we can build the protocols as part of it internally in the package. Again, we don't need an external plug-in. So as long as we know the protocols, we can develop that driver or that device connectivity. And as long as we've got an IP address then as well, we can connect, and then we can start to feed information into that device, or more importantly, if it's a sensor or some form of inspection device, we can start to be pulling data back out. And whether IDS Net is the face, and a lot of us small businesses, small manufacturers, we might be the face, but a lot of our multinational customers that have the bigger systems and the bigger SCADA systems, we might be sitting in the background feeding data. So whether we become the main server or just the client feeding that big data back in, gives us that flexibility. And we play in both spaces. So we're either feeding into the bigger systems and supporting that visibility better on production line, or as you see here, we can also be the face of the production line as well.
Yeah, wow. Do you think this is the turning point? I mean, we've got such low adoption rate of Industry 4.0 in this country. Was it because it was hard before and, we've got all these different sensors and protocols we need to work with? I guess things like this, trying to make it simpler. Do you think now, you're seeing greater adoption rates now that you're sort of, here's a solution, it's tied in with your packaging, it's tied in with your labeling?
Yeah, and I think, the need for productivity and efficiency is driving that. I've always said, let's get on the journey of Industry 3.0 and maybe 3.5 before we get to 4.0, because the reality is most manufacturers in Australia, and I think around the world, are so far away from Industry 4.0. So I'm saying, well, let's start the journey of Industry 3.5. Yes, connect the devices, and I think it's going to be some years before all devices have a common protocol and common industry standards. So there is always that legacy connectivity piece that I think we'll be dealing with, and certainly IDS Net plays in that space, that we can provide that gap and at least get the customers, especially small manufacturers, because they're the ones who actually are more nimble to take advantage of the productivity and efficiencies we can deliver. So if we can get them on the road, capturing and using our devices as IoT or some of their legacy systems and start to feed that, we can very quickly get them on that 3.5 into 4 journey. And that's what I'm excited about is I think where we can see the adoption, we can really pick up that adoption rate in those more small to medium size. Because the bigger guys, they're on the journey, but they're also, it's going to take time for them as well. But certainly for Australian manufacturing, how do we improve Australian manufacturing? I think it certainly starts here.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark, for coming on the show. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane and Paul.